Topic is there is no way around, only through. The fastest way to the game. You cannot cheat the game of life. You cannot the game. You can only go through. But he was one of my more difficult. Have that effort gene in him where he was going to be a bunch of shortcuts to be able to still get the same. Woo! We are so back, baby. Welcome back to the No Ceilings podcast, where we literally do not have any ceilings that hold us back from the goals and the mission in which we want to accomplish in life. A complete convertible house in which you can just go up green arrows until you reach where you want to be. I am your host, Corey Sheena. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Sunday. And today we are talking about one of my favorite topics. This is a topic that came up in my life, I would say about 4 years ago, and I'll just cut to the chase. The topic is there is no way around, only through. The fastest way to a point is a straight line. Point A to point B. No need for detours, no need for shortcuts, no need for hacks. You just go from point A to point B. So let's dive into it. You can also title this, or you can also the game. You cannot cheat the game of life. You cannot cheat the game of your goals. You cannot cheat the game of achievement. Sometimes you can get lucky. Sometimes you can back into a result that's pretty cool. But anything sustainable or worth having or big, you can't cheat the game. You can't do it. So let's just dive into a couple of examples to drive home the concept. So if you want to get smarter, read a book. Simple. If you want to get in better shape, go work out. If you want more money, work harder. If you want to be a better parent, spend more time with your children. And if you want to have more peace in your life, meditate. Maybe thinking to yourself, yeah, duh, incredibly simple. I agree with you, but the interesting thing is when it comes to being smarter, getting in better shape, having more money and wealth, being a better parent, or obtaining more peace, we do everything besides the stuff that you're supposed to do to get those things. We look for like these crazy Instagram hacks to try to find a shortcut to get something that we want to obtain. And what we end up doing is expending a lot of energy for the shortcuts and the hacks and the loopholes. And then we pick our head up and we realize that it's not a sustainable solution and we don't have what we want. There is no way around it. Don't cheat the game. You can only go through. Now, story time, and where this really kind of got set into stone for me, is I used to coach a banker on my team. Not going to name his name, but he was one of my more difficult bankers. And I'm actually very thankful for the ability to be, for the opportunity to be able to coach him, because he did teach me a lot about leadership. This particular banker was very difficult because he didn't have that effort gene in him where he was going to be a grit and grinder and wanted to hard to get the results that he wanted to get. He wanted to find a bunch of shortcuts to be able to still get the same results. So he wants the results. And in our business, the results was helping families purchase homes, and then we would get compensated for those things. So, when we would sit down and we would discuss, and if he looked himself in the mirror, he would say, I want to do more. Like, no one goes into their day saying, I want to do a bad job at this, at least not in my industry. They go into their days. I would like the outcome of making more money, and I would like the outcome of originating more mortgages. Like, that's what I'm here to do. It'd be a major waste of time. So he wants that. That's something that he is interested in. And it's my job as his leader back in the day to help get him there. But this particular guy was very bright, very smart, but he, again, did not want to work very hard. So he would find all of the shortcuts to try to originate more loans. And he would also try to find all the shortcuts to try to show that he was working when he really wasn't working that hard. And he would go to great lengths to show that he could appease a certain metric that we were looking to appease, and to kind of cheat his way through the day-to-day. And then when we would pick our head up at the end of the month, there'd be no loans to show for it. And then he was frustrated. I was frustrated. And, we'd catch him slipping plenty of times and be like, well, you said you did this, but you didn't do that. And you did that, but you did it totally wrong. There's a million examples. I just, one thing after another, just coming up with schemes and plans, and like really like 2.0 and 3.0 ways around doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And as his leader, at this point, I'm a subject matter expert, right? And I can tell him, hey, I know that if you put in more effort here and you focus on this thing, it will lead to more results. But putting more effort here was not on his agenda because that was more difficult. It was facing the problem head on. It was going from point A to point B and trying to get to the finish line without skipping laps. He wanted to skip all of the steps to actually get the result that would have been there for him. So he put so much effort into all these shortcuts. So it just was a great reminder for me that, man, if you could have just taken a step back, and I wish there was two of them, and we could have played it out. All the effort that you put into avoiding the thing that you know you need to do is wasted energy, and you could take that same energy in the thing that you know you need to do and just put it in the thing that you know you need to do. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? And I know I'm kind of preaching. I'm going to get off my soapbox because everybody does it. I do it myself as well. And you can really think about things in your life where you're like, why am I trying to work my way around this? Like, why don't I just face this thing head on? So in my business, I a big part of what I do is I partner up with people. So we call them referral partners. You can call them affiliates, but meeting people that are in the industry that could find like-minded clients like you is a big part of what I do. Now, going to networking events is not very fun, and meeting for coffees and lunches and going belly to belly, we call it, and meeting with perfect strangers out there in the world is not my favorite thing to do. So I'll try to find ways around doing those things. But when I have the best results in my business, it's when I sit down and schedule those meetings and am intentional about getting those belly to belly moments with people. So I don't want to be in the car. I don't want to drive in traffic. I don't want to, spend an hour at a lunch with somebody and then talk about business. I want it to be as simple as you sell houses, I do mortgages. Let's do that together. You're good at what you do. I'm good at what I do. Let's just work together. But it's not that simple. You have to consistently meet with a lot of folks and you have to put yourself out there. So I'm a perfect example of like, how can I manufacture my part of the business to work around doing all that stuff? I just want to sell. I just want to talk to clients. I just want to help families into homes. I don't want to do the lunch and the coffees and the networking meetings. But when I pick my head up after months of not meeting, I pick my head up and I say, where are all the loans at? Where are the results at? And that leads to the results. So the point I'm trying to drive home here is there's something that you want in life. And in order to obtain that thing that you want, you have to take action. And what happens a lot, and you can think about, hey, what's that thing that I want? What happens a lot is when it comes time to take action, we don't do it because it takes a lot of effort and we want to conserve our energy and we don't want to do that effort. We don't want to see it all the way through, or it's going to take a really long time, or it's such a large endeavor to take on. But instead of focusing on other stuff that is out there to try to get the same results, we just need to take a step back, draw a line in the sand, and say, you know what? No, I'm serious about getting that thing, whatever it is. I want to get smarter. I want more money. I want to be a better parent. It can be anything. And we don't need the extra coaching. Like we don't. We don't need the YouTube videos. We don't need this podcast. We know what to do a lot of times. A lot of times we know the answers to the tests and we choose not to do it because we don't want to take that extra step. We want to take our medicine and move forward and go all the way through the steps of the action that's needed to get the eventual goal. So let's go some levels, right? Because when it comes to no way around it, only through, first thing is you got to look yourself in the mirror and just have that real talk conversation with you. Okay. Now, after you have that real talk conversation with you of like, yes, I want to do this thing, that's considered level one, is identify what you want. Identify what you really want. And you have to really want it. You got to attach almost like a need to it of like, this is what I want out of life. This is what I want out of this quarter. This is what I want out of the season of my life. Far too many people are flying by the seat of their pants and just surviving one day after another, and thinking about like what the heck you want on a deep level is just, it's time well spent. And we do it every year for our New Year's resolution. Like, this is what I want to do this year. But even those, like, I'll have conversations with people what their New Year's resolutions are, and they're always the same. They're always fleeting. It's not something you actually want. And if you're unhappy and you feel like you're in a rut and not in that spot of like hey, I'm growing right now, I'm in grow mode, I'm on fire, I'm in the game, then it's probably because you haven't identified what you actually want out of life, what you actually want out of this month, what you want out of this quarter. So take the time and sit down and identify what you want. And then once you identify what you want, the fastest way to a point is a straight line. Don't identify the hacks of how to go around the work to actually get the thing. Identify the main set of actions that it takes to obtain that thing. So, I always go back to weight loss because a lot of people concentrate and focus on their bodies. But let's just say that you have an extra 15 pounds on and you want to lose 15 pounds. That's what you want. And you've sat down and you've identified, this is what I want to do. You don't need to do a juice cleanse. You don't need to do a crazy, I don't even know what's out there anymore, but you don't need to do it. It's wasted. Your way to losing the 15 pounds that you want to lose is the amount of calories that you take in on a day in and day out basis. You have to burn more calories. It's very simple. If you burn more calories than you take in, you will lose weight. It's simple. Losing weight can be simple. So there's no going around it. There's no specialty diet. There's no crazy fad diet. There's no juice cleanse. I need to eat and consume a certain amount of calories, and I need to burn a certain amount of calories. And if you can count those things, and as long as the amount of calories that you burn is more than the calories that you take in, then you'll lose weight. And then over enough time, then you'll lose the 15 pounds that you want to lose. Same thing with working out is you can change your diet so you're taking in less calories than what you're burning. And then you also exercise, you move your body. So you put on muscle, you can join a gym, you can join an exercise class, something that helps you burn those calories so that ratio falls in your favor. But if you are taking in a certain amount of calories, you work out and you burn a certain amount of calories, as long as that ratio is in your favor, you're going to lose weight. So you don't have to go around it. You can go right through it, point A to point B. Now, on level 1 and on that topic, what I've found is a simple plan is a sustainable plan. So plan simple, execute big is a great lesson that I learned a long time ago. I'm going to say it again. Plan simple, execute big. When you have a complicated plan or a complicated diet or a complicated workout plan or something that has a lot of levels to it that, it's hard for you to explain to people, that means that you don't have a sustainable plan, because what will happen is over enough time, life is complicated enough as its own. You're going to run into adversity. You're going to run into time sucks. You're going to run into something that throws you off of the actual plan. If it's not simple enough, you're going to throw it away. And like we've talked about in other podcasts, when you veer off the plan or you veer off the goal and you quit one day, that's something that can take away from your confidence. And that's something that will take you off of the plan, maybe longer term. It's a slippery slope. So plan simple, execute big. When it comes to I identify what I want, make it crazy simple to get that thing. And it could be 10,000 steps a day, right? And that will help you burn the calories that you want to burn. Just going back to the weight loss thing. And I'm not like a extreme weight loss challenge guy, but I have a friend who said, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps every single day. And currently right now, he's down 15 pounds in the year. We're in March. We're only 2 months in. And he didn't really change his diet. He didn't really change his workout plan. He didn't really change his, his employment, the way that he operates at work. He just is being intentional about getting his 10,000 steps. So he'll be at the office. He'll realize he's behind on his steps. He'll take the steps. Super simple. And because it's simple, it's sustainable. And it's because it's sustainable, he hasn't veered off of it. And he's continuing to do it. And now we're in March and he's continuing to do it. So it's not a complicated plan. So level 1 is just identify what you want in order to go to it. Don't go around it. Don't try to find the hack. Go to it. And then level 2 is it isn't binary. It's not did you read enough? It's not did you read a book and now I'm smart. It's how many books did you read? What kind of content was in the books? How much dedication did you put to retaining the information? So there are actual levels to getting from point A to point B. And this is a part or a piece that a lot of people, I think, have trouble understanding, because they'll see somebody that accomplishes an amazing feat and they believe they know the path that it takes to get there. But if they were to pull that person who accomplished that amazing feat, what they'll find is that they are well shy of what it actually takes to obtain that. So to, go through another example, right? It's not binary. It's at what level are you doing it? So if you wanted to, going back to the 15 pounds, if you wanted to lose 15 pounds, if you did 10,000 steps over enough time, you can lose those 15 pounds. It may take you 2 to 3 months. But if you wanted to lose 15 pounds within 1 month, the level in which you dial in your diet, you count your macros, you really ramp down your calories, and be careful, don't go too unhealthy on us, but you really get intentional about it. You work out every single day. Maybe you do 2 workouts a day, and you're hydrating, you're staying in the zone with the diet. You can shed those 15 pounds super easy. So it's not necessarily like, do you do it? Like, are you working out and are you eating? It's at what level are you doing it to? And sometimes your goal requires a major level from you. So one of my goals this year is to run a marathon and to qualify for the Boston Marathon in June. I know that I can't just lazily jump out there and run 3 to 4 times a week in order to obtain that goal. I know that I'm going to have to run 5 to 7 times a week, maybe take an off day here and there. And on my runs, I'm going to have to run 20 miles at some point. So there's levels to it, and the levels may be dictated more by your goal, but I think we limit ourselves. I think we put a cap on what we can actually accomplish because we have that limiting belief of what we're actually capable of. I'm here to tell you that there are so many people out there, the 1% of the 1%ers, and that's millions of people because there's trillions of people in the world, but there's so many people out there that are accomplishing amazing feats. There's so many people out there that are living a blissful life. There's so many people out there that have achieved a huge level of wealth, and they are not built different than you. They are not genetically coded differently than you. There's geniuses, there's people with great IQs, but there's also people with great IQs that don't have a lot of money. There's also people with great IQs that aren't have like their dream body. So it's not necessarily smarts. We're made up of the same fabric. And because those people don't have the limiting belief of what is possible, then they go for it. And when they go for it, they plan simple, they execute big, but they do it at a very high degree. So I'm willing to bet whatever the thing is that you want to accomplish or get out of life, you are shortchanging yourself. And I'm also willing to bet that you have so much more in the tank that you can give. And I know life is hard, and I know you have responsibilities, and I know that there are things that can veer you off the track of where you want to go. But you have so much more inside you that you can give. And the reason why I know that is because I found that with myself, and I am not special. I don't have any special skills or genetics that I was born with. And when my parents saw me, they were like, this is one of those gifted kids that has this special attribute. I'm like perfectly average height. I'm perfectly average weight, perfectly average grades in school, like average across the board. But I believe that I'm out here to do incredible things, and my lid is raised. And I understand now at this season of my life that it takes really serious fortitude, and it takes really serious intentionality, and it takes really serious consistency to obtain those special things. To name a few of the special things, I've ran 3 marathons now. I've ran a half Ironman. Those go back to the physical because it's just easy to kind of compare to. I've won a lot of awards at work. I've built a great family life. We have a second home in Michigan. There's certain things that, genetically, if you're in the genetic draft, maybe I wasn't going to be at the top of that draft, but because I've chipped away at the limiting beliefs that I had in life, and because I understand the level of action that it takes to get to a certain level, then you're able to obtain those things. And I'm not necessarily in the finished product spot where I have it all. I have way more that I want to achieve and go out and get, but I'm staying within the lane of like the goals that I want to obtain. So enough about me. That's just a couple things. So level 1 is identify what you want, make it big, make it awesome. And then level 2 is understanding that it's levels. There are levels to it. It's not binary. It's not I worked out, so I should lose weight. It's how much did you work out? How hard did you work out? What kind of criteria did you use? What was your recovery look like? And how much weight were you trying to lose, or how much muscle were you able to put on? So there's levels to it. And a lot of times we underestimate what those levels are, and understand if you estimate what the level is, that's just your limiting beliefs of believing what you can and cannot obtain. So, being able to see that head on is a huge breakthrough that a lot of people can get. Now, level 3 is consistency. Level 3 is consistency. So level 1 is identifying what you want. Level 2 is understanding that there's levels to begin with when it comes to action and the way in which you attack those goals. And then level 3 is consistency. So you want to be in the get rich long game. You want to be in that game in which you are stacking wins on top of each other. Because what I found in life, and when I found in obtaining goals that are hard to achieve, is there's compound actions that happen on top of each other. So it's just that consistently showing up every single day to be able to stack those wins. And then when you pick your head up at the end of the journey, you're now at the top of that mountain. That is what separates a lot of people in life, is the amount of consistency that you can put into something. So showing up every single day is difficult. There's plenty of factors that can move you off of your consistent track that you'd be on. You can get sick. The weather cannot cooperate. Work is pulling you in different directions. Family's pulling you in different directions. You're stressed out. There's a million and one reasons why you can get thrown off of your consistency, but we're not interested in those reasons, because those reasons are just excuses. And if you really want something, then you find ways to go out and get it. So tell me all the reasons why you can go out and get it. If the weather's bad, do the indoor workouts, right? If you're sick, maybe that day you do an inclined walk and you drink some teas, you drink some vitamin C to get better. If life is stressing you out and you're getting pulled in a million different directions with family, work, and everything else you got going on, that just means that you need to wake up earlier in the morning before all that stuff hits your plate. And that's when you get it in. And that's when you do the thing. There's excuses that we tell ourselves, and there's stories that we tell ourselves as a defense mechanism to make ourselves feel better. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of those stories are not true. And a lot of those stories are made up in your head, again, to make you feel better. So if you have identified something that you want, and you allow the level in which you approach that thing to have you fall short, or if you allow consistency to get broken, then what you really need to do, instead of blaming outside factors and instead of blaming the world for why you're not able to get what you want, what you really got to do is you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I actually did not want this bad enough. I didn't want it bad enough to go out and actually get it. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. No matter the excuse, no matter the situation, you can always find a way. What I tell my team all the time, especially right now, because we're in March Madness, which is a really difficult competition for us, and I say it over and over and over again every single day, is tell me all the reasons why you can do it. They come to me with problems on problems on problems. I'm the fireman. I put out, I don't even know how many fires on Friday. It was awesome. But we got our hose out. We sprayed them all. Everybody's happy. Clients are happy. Bankers are happy. Everything worked out. And you know what? That's why they pay me the big bucks. But what they bring to me every single day is all of the reasons why we can't do something, why we can't close on a house, why we can't sell the client, why we can't help this person, why we can't meet with this agent, whatever the case is. And then I stop them and I say, I don't care about all the reasons why we can't. I care about the reasons why we can. And I know that's harsh. I know I'm coming off as like David Goggins right now, stay hard. That's not why I bring it up. I bring it up because our brain focuses on these things, and we set the programming to our brain. So when you go out there and you start thinking of all the reasons why you can't stay consistent and you can't obtain a certain goal, then your brain is going to find those things for you in the world. They're going to say the weather is crappy. They're going to say, here's another thing on your plate of why you can't get the workout in. It's going to say, work's going to pull you away from the thing. Like whatever the excuse is, you're going to throw that out there and it's going to find you, and the world is going to find you, and you're going to gravitate towards it. And what you're going to say when you see it is, see, it rained again. I can't run. See, another thing happened with my family. I can't run. See, I got sick again. I got another cough 2 times in 2 months. Obviously I can't do it. I got thrown off track of what I wanted to do. I hear that so often. It's like, yeah, I was doing it, and then I had to stop because of insert excuse. And it's because you're out there finding all the reasons why you can't do it. flip it on its head. Tell me all the reasons why you can do it. It's raining outside. No big deal. If I think about how I can still get this done, I can hop on the treadmill inside, or I can throw a freaking jacket on and run in the rain. Let's do it. David Goggins style. If you are way too busy at work, guess what? 1 hour earlier and get it in, because you know you have a busy day the next day full of fires. If a client says that they're not moving forward, find a way in which we can make that happen for them. We can change the structure of the loan. We can I'm throwing out different scenarios that happen on my day to day. So tell me all the reasons why you can. Second thing that I tell my team all the time, up and down, they're sick of me at this point because it's March Madness. I'm kind of calling us all out for the excuses, is what can go right. So a lot of people go into their day and they have these moments of what could go wrong here. What could go wrong? And they say that to themselves, and that's stuck in their head because they've ran into adversity in the past, and they just are waiting for the shoe to drop. Whether it's something that good happened or something that bad happened, they're just waiting for something worse to happen, or they're just waiting for the good thing to go away and reality to set in. So they're looking for what else could go wrong here. And guess what? That finds them 10 out of 10 times. And the reason why it finds them is because the world isn't perfect. Your life isn't perfect. Adversity is inevitable, and expect adversity. It's going to come all of the time. And when your brain is tuned to what else could go wrong here, you're going to see it and you're going to say, see, there it is. The weather, the stress, the work, my health, whatever. And you're going to say, I was right, because we want to be right. I was right. I knew the shoe was going to drop and another thing went wrong for us. But I'm here to tell you that if you want to be right in the best way possible, ask yourself what could go right here. Go into your day and say, what could go right? And just watch the world of opportunity show up for you. And maybe all the stuff that was supposed to happen that day happens the same. But because your brain is tuned into what could go right, you start to appreciate everything that is happening in your favor. And when you're coming from a place of appreciation and gratitude, and things are perceived to happen in your favor, then you go after it way harder and you're ready to roll. And it's easy to set a big goal and look yourself in the mirror and say, I want this, and go out and do it. And it's way easier to do it at a certain level that is what is needed to do something great. You need elite leveling to level up. And you do it at a stage in which you're consistent and you show up every day as the best version of yourself. And it's not exhausting because, things are just working in your favor. You got the good breaks. It's not happening to you. And you have that mindset around it, life gets really fun at that point, and you start stacking wins on top of each other. So I want life to be blissful for everybody. I want life to be something that you can be very proud of. And I want you to have those moments that I've had over the last 5 years where you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I did it. I accomplished it. I did something I didn't think I could actually do. And I did that through believing in myself and stacking wins and leveling up and putting it out there of what I want and doing things at a very consistent pace, in which behind the scenes, maybe people aren't aware of how much work actually goes into it to actually achieve that end result. So go out there, set the goal in which you want to achieve, and just understand that there needs to be no energy built into all the ways around getting the thing that you want to get. You know what you need to do, and you know the fastest way to get there and the best way to get there is to go through. A to B, straight line, go out and get those W's. That's all we got for you guys today. We'll see you next week. See ya.